Hey everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in to the Little Bishes Stitches Knitting Podcast. I'm Catherine, your host. I am an indie dyer from Hagen, Germany. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry, and I also have a hand-dyed yarn shop. All the information for these contacts I'll leave in the drop-down box below. So let's get into it. It has been a super long time since my last podcast. I mentioned in the first or second episode of the channel that I wouldn't be doing this regularly. I'm so sorry that it took so long, and thanks so much for all the new subscribers. I was so blown away in the time that I had not brought out a video, how many people have kind of moseyed on by and been like, subscribe again, or I'll say before I forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, or if you'd like to figure out kind of like what's going on here in the channel here and there, subscribe. So anyhoodle, yeah, I was totally amazed how many people subscribed and also stuck around with this really super long break that has been going on in the channel. Thanks so much for giving the Little Bishes Stitches Knitting Podcast a chance. And yeah, I hope that I can offer some interesting topics here and there and that you all stick around, or that more people will come. That would be also great to see kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, let's jump into works in progress. I don't really have that many works in progress, or I'll say I have a work in progress that's with me. The rest are at home because I'm currently in the studio. And yeah, let me see. I have a pair of socks that I'm working on, and I have a blanket, and that's about it. I mean, the last couple months I have just been knitting socks and also knitting socks for the pattern that I brought out. So yeah, I'd have to say today I don't have as many works in progress as I usually have had. I just really haven't had that much time. So I'll just show you what I got. I have here a crochet sock. This is the Sunnydale pattern from J Hook Crochet. She has an Etsy shop where you can purchase this pattern. I will leave the information for that in the drop down box below. A little story about this sock. Yeah, I love knitting socks. And so far in my handmaking career, I don't really have a lot of things that I crochet or say this is my finished object crochet, and knitting is my first love, but I'm very interested in crochet. I just have to basically, I guess, trust myself a little bit more and be like, listen, you know, you can figure out a sweater pattern, you can figure out how to crochet. It can't be that hard. So Reggie from J Hook Crochet, she is a good friend of mine, and Cath from CathsEyecatchers as well. They have been giving me a lot of moral support about crocheting, and when I saw that Reggie had a sock pattern out for crochet or crocheted socks, I was like, I have to do this. So it's really, really awesome. It's a toe up pattern, and it's really super easy. It's so enjoyable. I have to admit, when I started knitting this pattern, I thought to myself, like, oh God, like I'm not gonna be able to figure this out. But then once I was done with the decreases in the toe, I figured, wow, this is really, it's just in the round and it's so enjoyable. It's so therapeutic. It goes mega quick. And yeah, I just loved it. So yeah, like I said, it's toe down, toe up, how you say, and then you basically break for the heel, and then you keep going with the cuff. And I have to look in a little bit more into how to make the cuff here at the top, because I really would like to do the ribbing cuff so it's nice and stretchy and also aesthetically pleasing. I mean, I don't want to have something that's just like straight across, but I must admit I have to look at a few videos first because I'm not really understanding how to do that. Or another cool little ditty about this sock is I learned also a little bit more about gauge. I always thought, or I'll say I assumed, that as a crocheter, I am more of like a loose crocheter, that there's tighter crocheters. So at first I thought I should then go with, I think I started with a 3 a size 3 hook. And then I took apart the sock again because when I hung out with Cath and Reggie in Cologne in, was it August? I think it was August. I saw Reggie's sock and it was much tighter and just beautiful. And I noticed that her hook was a lot smaller. So then I switched to a 2.5 hook for this. And I think it makes it so much better. It's just much more tight and compact and durable. And the other sock I made was just too airy, so I didn't really like that. This is in our, I'll start from the toe and work my way down. This is my hand-dyed yarn from the shop. This is our Victoria colorway. I have both of these colorways in our Luxe sock high twist. I thought that would be really cool for a crochet sock because it could be a little bit more durable and also a little bit thicker. They are both fingering weight. And yeah, this is our Victoria colorway, and this is our Locked and Loaded colorway going on. And then I have my Halloween stitch marker from CathsEyecatchers. Yeah, so this is my work in progress. Again, this is a crochet sock pattern from J Hook Crochet, and it is her Sunnydale sock pattern. Yeah, so I do have another work in progress, but it's something small. This is my, sock pattern, let's just say. This is, or my sock pattern actually has a name. It is the Blackberry seed sock pattern. And like I said, you can access that on Ravelry. I so far have a pattern for sizes of socks that are just medium. Yeah, I mean, this was the first sock pattern I ever made, or the first pattern ever. And at first I had the whole idea to have different sizes. But then with the color work pattern itself, I was starting to notice that that might be a little bit too difficult. So then I dropped that and just did a size medium. I will be making updates to the pattern in probably the next year or so. I really can't promise that it's gonna be in the next 6 months or whatever, because there's just starting now much more going on in the shop where I am making a pattern for the advent calendars, and to do more pattern work on the sock pattern is just not in the cards for now. But I guess what I was getting at is, originally I had the idea to have several sizes, stayed with the medium size, but for fun started the smaller size. So this is basically, I'd say for like a toddler. I have one sock that's finished already. Take it out. I just have to still bind off the toe because I'm kind of lazy with that. So this is the sock. I mean, maybe it's not for a toddler, maybe it's for like a kid who's like 3 or 4 years old, but it's still, I would say, in the small sock size family. This is a really enjoyable sock pattern, especially if you're kind of like looking to get your feet wet with color work. It's just a really, just a really flowy, easy, enjoyable color work sock pattern. So yeah, just to tell you a little bit about the sock, is a cuff down sock. I do a 2x2 rib, so it's nice and springy. This is our Victoria colorway again. The base color of the sock is our Stonehenge colorway, and the color work in this sock here is our Peep colorway. So yeah, you start with the cuff, goes down the leg. This is a color work pattern that's also in the round. I did a heel flap and gusset here, nice and traditional, however with a slip and knit pattern, so that the sock or the heel in the back is a little bit more stretchy, gives it a little bit more give, and also for the pattern that it creates is also very nicely aesthetically pleasing. And then once you do your heel flap and gusset and the decreases, it continues on to the foot of the sock. Again, the pattern that you did here above continues down here in the sock, and it ends with the toe. And I have, I mean, I like how toes ends when they have like a nice slope. Everybody has their own preference in terms of whether it should be a round toe. I'm more so for a sloped. Really a beautiful sock pattern in my opinion. I'm very proud of it. And yeah, so I did the one sock and now I'm continuing on the next. And yeah, for the cuff I used 2.5 millimeter needles, and then for the color work, as you do, I went up a needle size. And this is also another stitch marker from CathsEyecatchers. I do have finished objects. I believe the last time I podcasted, I was working on the Change Your Mind shawl from Counting Sheep. I will show a picture here to show you all what that pattern looks like. That is a beautiful shawl. Also really easy in terms of garter stitch, easy eyelets, but amazingly aesthetically beautiful and pleasing. And I did that shawl in our, I think I also used Victoria, and also our electric slide colorway. The next finished object that I have is the Riff sweater. I'll also include a picture here. Yeah, this sweater took me forever. I also told you guys about that sweater in the last episode with my ball of agony. That always came, let's just say, to realization, or came to realization in the first couple months, or let's just say years. It took me a total of 3 or 4 years to knit this sweater. Not because the sweater pattern is horrible, it was just because I guess I was too dumb to figure it out. I don't know. Yeah, but I stayed on it because it was a gift from my husband, and yeah, this ball of agony would always come to form when I would have to rip it out. And my husband was so over the moon. I gave it to him on his birthday, and he just was so excited. And it looks super duper great on him. And it's a beautiful pattern. It's really, yeah, it's just very handsome. And I really enjoyed knitting it because it was kind of like a process of learning in the realm of knitting, and also a process of learning in a phase that I was going through in my life at that time, where I thought to myself, like, yeah, nothing always has instructions. You have to figure it out. Yeah, so let's move on to what's going on in the shop. Yeah, we have the advent calendars that are going on. I'm not taking any more pre-orders for those advent calendars because it's just too late at this point in time in terms of ordering the yarn to dye them and then the dyeing process itself. Advent calendars will be going out the end of October, the beginning of November. Fall colorways. One of my favorites that I dyed up is our pumpkin spice colorway. This is in our soft sock bulky base. This is a 4-ply fingering sock yarn with 75% merino and 25% nylon. It is really just soft and squishy and bouncy, and it really makes beautiful socks. This colorway is, I'd say right now, one of my favorite colorways in the shop. It's blowing out a little bit because of the light. I love Halloween. I love orange. When you see the color orange, especially in the combination with blacks or reds or whatever, it just totally screams Halloween. Yeah, this is 100 grams and 400 yards. So this is also currently on sale in the shop. Another colorway that I made for the fall in the spirit of Halloween is our Goularia colorway. It's also blowing out a little bit. Sorry about that. That's a little bit better. This is also in our soft sock bulky fingering, also 4-ply, also sock yarn, 75-25 merino nylon. This is almost like a ghost white. It's blowing out again. Sorry about that. It has a hue of gray, but it also has like almost like a base of white. Super pretty. And then we also have our Schneewittchen, which has been a tonal colorway in the shop for some time now. And if you put the 2 or the 3 together, you basically have our Goblin Hill yarn kit, and it just looks awesome. It's just really, like I said, a really amazing celebration of fall. and Halloween. So another fall colorway that I have, or it has entered into the fall colorway family at Little Bishes Stitches Hand Dyed Yarn, is our Halo colorway. And it's blowing out again. This is also in our soft sock bulky base. It is kind of like, yeah, here and there, some like toasted almond going on with purple and yeah, kind of like crimson speckles, and the sun can stop being so dumb. I'm so sorry. Kind of like a neon speckles going on in there somewhere, but it's just also a beautiful colorway. It's very toasty, it's very warm, it's very fall-like, and would make really an awesome pair of socks. I don't think it would make a great pair of socks with this colorway. I think that would be a little bit too obnoxious. But maybe, what else could one pair that with that is a tonal from us? This is, for example, our Lionheart colorway. Maybe those two would work well together. I don't know. What do you think? So, yeah, also a mega beautiful colorway. Here I have, I guess it's a little bit redundant, but I forgot to mention it when I was talking about the Halloween colorways. This is also a new tonal that has come to the shop. It doesn't have a name yet. I have to kind of think about what it is I want to name it. Then I also had another colorway somewhere here. This is our Heart of the Ocean colorway. This is in our soft sock fingering base. It is also a 75%, 25% merino, merino nylon rather. And yeah, I mean, the sun doesn't usually shine here that often, but today it's really doing a job outside, so everything's really like blown out. But yeah, this is, like I said, Heart of the Ocean. Also another beautiful, luscious and rich colorway that's in the shop. This is also another tonal colorway that we have that's been in the shop for the last year now. This is our Siren colorway. This is really a very luscious and rich crimson red. Also an amazing tonal that we have. So those were basically all of the fall colorways and Halloween colorways that we have in the shop. I also have some new colorways that are not exactly attached to a theme that's going on in terms of, like, you know, holidays or whatever. So as I mentioned, we have new colorways, and another thing to kind of point out is your traditional sock yarn doesn't always have to be, or I'll say the yarn you use for your socks when you knit them, this traditional sock yarn doesn't always have to be a fingering base. It can also be a DK base, which I think if you have a good 75-25 mix, you can do that really well with a DK weight, for example. So here I have our Bubblicious colorway. Again, I'm so sorry, it's a little bit blown out. It's a superwash 75%, 25% nylon. It is technically a sock yarn. This colorway, along with two other colorways with Caboodle and Venus Flytrap, or yeah, I think it's called Flytrap. Sorry about that. These are all one-of-a-kind colorways that I dyed up about, I think, a week ago. There is a limited amount of these colorways, and they're only in our DK base, our soft sock DK base. So yeah, I mean, they look totally mega together, all three. This could be a crazy fade if you wanted to, or just maybe a pair of socks. Like I said, I mean, you know, like, socks don't always have to be your straight up traditional fingering weight. They can also be a super wash 75-25 merino nylon mix, which is kind of cool for socks, especially at this time of year. I mean, I don't know where all of you live, but for those of you who live in climates that do have 4 seasons or do get colder, let's just say, and you want to make a nice springy snuggy pair of socks and also have the effect that it goes quicker, DK would be a really super duper solution to that. So yeah, like I said, this is our Bubblicious, our Flytrap, and our Caboodle. That reminds me of that caboodle you had when you were little. You put all your scrunchies and toys and candy in there, things like that. So another colorway I have here is our I Hate Unicorns colorway. Sorry, and no offense to all of you who love unicorns, but I think they're kind of cheesy. And when I see this colorway, I just think to myself, like, it looks like a unicorn, but I don't like unicorns. So yeah, I mean, again, this is in our soft sock bulky fingering base, and it's just really cool with like a base of almost like a lilac purple with a bunch of awesome speckles going on. So yeah, good. And so last but not least, a colorway that I have in my hand is a Christmas colorway. And this Christmas colorway is in the shop currently because it's so popular. Like, everybody loves this colorway, whether it's Valentine's Day or whether it's summer vacation, they all want to get themselves some merry and bright. And again, we're getting blown out. This colorway is just so cool because it's a nice subtle blue. It looks a little bit better when I hold it towards the camera like that. It's a nice subtle blue. It's almost like a soft, between like a soft and like a baby blue. And it has these mega amazing speckles here with greens and yellows and reds and blues, like all those things you see blinking on your Christmas tree in terms of lights. And yeah, this is in our soft sock bulky fingering again. And it's just so awesome. I had to like show you guys because yeah, Christmas is coming in a couple of months, but this definitely will be also a little bit more pronounced on my Instagram and also on the website for the shop in the next couple of months. I would say, I mean, these are stocked right now, but our Christmas colorways will be coming more towards, yeah, I'd say the middle to end of October, around that. So another thing we have going on in the shop is the kits for the Make Along 7 by Imagined Landscapes. She has a make along going on that starts next week, I believe. It's based on her all work GNOME play pattern. I created a series of sets. There are, I believe, 6 sets in total. I'll show pictures here. Like I said, 6 sets in total. Each set contains 3 20-gram skeins, so 60 grams in total, of different tonal colorways. All the colorways are in our soft sock fingering base, and we have an array of options in terms of like which kit. And I'm also offering, in addition to the kit that you purchase, an additional kit that you can use to basically complete the creation of your GNOME. And that includes linsen or beans, so that your GNOME basically is heavy, and also natural roving. I thought, yeah, okay, you can also use this like poly plastic thing, but I just thought it would probably smell and look and feel so much better to have a natural roving in there. So you get like a little cloud of natural roving in addition in this set, and stitch marker from CathsEyecatchers that is a, yeah, GNOME inspired stitch marker. So check that out. That's going on in the shop. There is no expiration on that. I'll basically let that offer run until basically the knit along is over, or the make along, and yeah, take a look. So another new happening that I would really love to share with everybody, and it's been going on for a while already. This is basically the second order, but I've started to get into doing wholesale orders. And at first I thought to myself, like, wow, this is a lot of work. But what's so awesome about it is that it's basically spreading the yarn, and it's getting hand-dyed yarn to the rest of the world, the rest of knitters, crocheters. And what's also super cool is when you create a colorway, it's like this moment that just makes a click where you're just like, that's it. That's the color's supposed to go here, the speckles are supposed to go there. And I have to say, creating colorways also for wholesale orders has been an amazing labor of love that I enjoy so much. So like I mentioned, this is now the second wholesale order where Little Bishes Stitches hand-dyed yarn will be offered at Wholesale Atelier in Heidelberg, Germany. So if any of you who are watching today are saying, oh, I also live near Heidelberg, or I live in Heidelberg, go down to Wholesale Atelier, look at what she has there on an amazing assortment of yarns. And if Little Bishes Stitches hand-dyed yarn is something that you dig, then you can get your yarn there from now on. Of course, I always am happy about orders on the web shop, but it's even cooler when you can go to a yarn store and they have the yarn you like. So yeah, check it out. I will leave information for Wholesale Atelier in the drop down box. And yeah, I definitely highly recommend her yarn store. Anya is super nice, super sweet, and yeah, check it out. Yeah, so that's basically all I have going on in the shop right now. I would say that's enough because yeah, a day without dyeing yarn, a day without working on the shop, a day without not doing anything administrative would be a day that is just probably not so nice. I like doing things in the shop and I really enjoy it. And I'm only one person, so I'm basically doing everything by myself for now. Who knows, maybe one day things will get bigger. I take a lot of pride and enjoy very, very much dyeing your yarn and packaging everything and making plans for the shop and packing your order and taking it to the post office. So thank you all so much for your orders, and thank you all so much for having patience with me. I know sometimes yeah, in terms of like what's going on in the shop, or rather thank you all for all of you who had the patience during the time that my family and I were struggling with the natural disaster, that you were understanding in terms of like your orders coming, also understanding in terms of the post. It's not always a sunny situation with that, but yeah, like I said, it's a pleasure and I really enjoy it, and thank you. So everyone, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enjoyed seeing my work in progress and my finished objects. And I also hope that you enjoyed seeing the new colorways we have in the shop and just hearing a little bit about hand dyeing yarn. And yeah, have a great weekend. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what's going on with Little Bishes Stitches Knitting Podcast in the future, please hit that subscribe button. So take care. Thanks so much. And see you the next time. Sheets. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Little Bishes Stitching. I don't even know how to do this anymore. Where do I even look? I have to follow the dot.